Chicago Bulls fans, with training camp set to begin here shortly in about another week or two, we're going to talk about the Bull that will make the most noise during training camp. I got a few candidates who might be up on that list, and we're going to go ahead and talk it out. But you know you got to hear the music first.
Cognac. Gang.
Shy Bulls podcast with the Cognac Boys. I'm Cognac Boy Bobby, and I'm holding it down for me and my co-host C-Dub on another episode of Shy Bulls podcast. If you like what you're listening to today, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell as well. So every time we drop, you be one of the first ones to know. Now look, we know. Right now in Chicago sports, we are having a tough time, especially after the expectation of our Chicago Bears. We got to look forward to the Chicago Bulls and hope that they can bring some more life into the city of Chicago as of right now. But when you look at training camp, I think it's going to be a lot of different things that's going to be circulating around the team. It's going to be talks about the point guard battle for sure. It's going to be if DeMar DeRozan and the big three, Zach LaVine and Nikola Vucevic, can get things rolling as the big three or the core per se of the team. It's going to be, can DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine coexist within each other? It's going to be, can P. Will take that next step forward? It's going to be, will Billy Donovan be much better as a coach? It's going to be a lot of things and a lot of questions that's going to surround this Chicago Bulls team and have us talking about, man, are we just in for another year of bad Chicago sports? We ain't looking too good. White Sox look terrible. Chicago Bears look terrible. Is the Chicago Bulls about to look terrible? I hope not. But at the end of the day, I do think there will be some players amongst this Chicago Bulls team, that will make some noise during training camp. And hopefully that's something that can lead into a solid, productive season for said players. Now, number one on the list for me, who I think is going to make the most noise in training camp, is Jevon Carter. The reason I think is he's going to make the most noise is because he's going to be viewed, in my opinion, as that guy who finally can come in and solidify that point guard spot and quote unquote be that replacement for Lonzo Ball. You look at Jevon Carter, you say he's a bulldog defensively. He's solid from the three-point line. He has had his moments with the Milwaukee Bucks this past season before joining the Bulls that a lot of people liked what he can bring to the game. You know, transition threes, spot up threes, getting downhill, being the menace on defense, etc., etc. It's going to be a lot of things that percolate around Jevon Carter to where you're going to be like, man, what's going on in training camp? So in training camp, I believe that you will have moments to where you're saying, man, that you will hear articles and stories and get reports out of camp that Jevon Carter is really, really solidifying the point guard spot. Now, I know that I came on and I still do believe that this should be an open competition, but my early prediction, you know what I'm saying, is that he will be supplanted into the starting lineup. I believe they go out and get a guy like Jevon Carter because they seen what Patrick Beverley can provide this team. And now you get a guy that can provide those same things as a Patrick Beverley, but now he has the three-point shooting that the Chicago Bulls desperately need to improve this team and get modern with their basketball offense. So I definitely think Jevon Carter is going to come in. He's going to garner a lot of attention to see how he's working with the big three, to see how he's getting guys set up in the half-court offense, to see how he's operating within, you know, the transition game or on the fast break per se. I believe you're going to hear different things coming out of training camp surrounding Jevon Carter to see if the Chicago Bulls really, really made a great signing by bringing in Jevon Carter, because there are a lot of doubters. There are a lot of naysayers when it comes to what the hell are the Chicago Bulls doing with their team, especially with hanging on to pretty much the same guys for year 3 and just adding a few pieces and changes here and there, and then still banking on some of your younger guys to come in and see what they can potentially provide for your team. So I think Jevon Carter is going to be first in line because we all know the Chicago Bulls desperately need solid point guard play. So I believe the spotlight is going to be on Jevon Carter because we know what Zach LaVine brings. We know what DeMar DeRozan brings. We know what Nikola Vucevic will bring. They are only missing their solid point guard. And will Jevon Carter be that guy? I hope so. We just gotta wait and see what's to it. The next person I think is gonna make some noise, I think it's gonna be Patrick Williams. I know this is my third year going on, my third season going into this, and hopefully, we get to answer the call and say Patrick Williams is finally on his shit. I hope so. And I think that he's going to garner a lot of attention simply because you have Mark Eversley during Bulls Fest said that Patrick Williams, he needs to go ahead and step up. You heard Mark Eversley during Summer League saying that this is a very big season for Patrick Williams. So I think that you still have to see if Patrick Williams at just 22 years old now can eventually take a next step forward. And it's very, very imperative that he does that for sure because the patience is kind of running low with Chicago Bulls fans. It sounds like it's kind of running low with the Bulls front office. Now, you know what I'm saying? The guy has had just basically 2 consecutive off seasons with being fully healthy, not having to deal with wrist injuries or any other injuries like that. You know what I'm saying? He was one of the guys that played 82 games this past season alongside Nikola Vucevic. We are just waiting for Patrick Williams to be the player we know that he can be, that raw talent that came in and who basically solidified himself as a defensive player first and definitely showed glimpses of what he can do offensively. And now is the time for Patrick Williams to do that. So all eyes will be on Patrick Williams because this is the front office pretty much first pick. You know what I'm saying? This is their prize pick on who they thought they could bring into the team and potentially give something to the Chicago Bulls. A lot of us Bulls fans said, man, he looked like a baby Kawhi Leonard. Now, baby Kawhi Leonard need to come out and be a baby Kawhi Leonard at some point, right? So we hoping that Patrick Williams comes out and finally gets his head on straight, get his head out his backside, and go ahead and be the player we believe he can be. So I think that the eyes will be on him. I believe there will be a lot of reports that's going to come out and talk about what he's doing good, what he's not doing great. Is he moving slower? Is he being more decisive? Is he being more assertive or aggressive? You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a lot of discussions like that. And it's going to be a lot of eyes on Patrick Williams to see how does he fit with the team and how does he enforce his way into getting more touches, because he's going to have to demand that, number one. And the coach is actually going to have to insert that into his game plan, their play style, their identity of what the Chicago Bulls want to look like this season. So it's going to come down to Patrick Williams, and it's going to come down to Coach Billy Donovan and the coaching staff to ensure that Patrick Williams has a role on this team, and you have to find out what that role is. I think if you look at certain teams around the league, we just gonna go with the defending champs. I'm not saying the Chicago Bulls are going to be in championship contention. I'm not going that far, but I'm just looking at Michael Porter Jr. What type of is Patrick Williams gonna have that type of role? A guy that, you know what I'm saying, who really doesn't demand the ball a lot, but he gets his touches. I'm not expecting Patrick Williams to just post up at the 3 and jack up shots. But if you look at the way MPJ is played within that organization, they count on him a lot. You know what I'm saying? And even when he doesn't have it going offensively, he has been able to be effective in other ways. And that has to come with Patrick Williams, but he also has to build that trust within his teammates, make them people respect his game, and be able to say, man, I'm hot right now in this particular game. Feed me the ball. And that's kind of like how I look at, in a way, the Denver Nuggets, they treat Michael Porter Jr. in that way. When it's time and he has it going and he's heating up from 3 and things like that, doing different things during the game, the players continue to feed him. So Patrick Williams, once you got it going, and you start eating, you got to make sure that they continue to feed you. So that's number 2. My last person I think that's going to make some noise in training camp, I believe, will be Coby White. I believe Coby White, with the season he had last year, with the improvement in ball handling, with the improvement of going down in fast break, with the improvement of being solid in transition, with the improvement of driving to the basket, with the improvement on being solid on the defensive side of the ball, he's going to garner more eyes as well. And I think he's gonna be thrown in the mix simply because it's gonna be conversations on if Coby White deserves to even start. You know what I'm saying? Because we brought that up over here on Shy Bulls podcast towards the end of the season, going into the off season, and still now we still think that it should, at least me, I let C Dub speak for himself. I still think that he deserves another shot. You know what I'm saying? He says that he wants to be a starting point guard. I believe, out of respect to him and what he's done for the organization, you give him an opportunity to compete. And that's all. It doesn't have to be handed off to him. You know what I'm saying? You want to see what he can do. But, you know what I'm saying, at least give him an opportunity to make his case. And I'm all for that. You know what I'm saying? But even after that, I still think that the eyes are on him, because if he's not the starting point guard, he's at least number 1 or 2 off the bench when it's time to come in. I know Alex Caruso might be one, at least it be, in the battle between who comes off first or who comes off second. But I believe it's going to be between those 2 for sure. So we'll have to look at that. We'll have to see how Coby White has progressed, because even if he's not the starting point guard, I still want to see him be able to take hold of a second unit and just make it his own. You know what I'm saying? Just like if you're looking at some of the players around the league, you look at a Tyus Jones, who was previously with the Memphis Grizzlies. He made the second unit his own. I know that was something I called from Patrick Williams to do last season, but my expectations is going to change, and I'm going to put that harness on Coby White to see if Coby White can take grasp of this second unit, continue to build out, some repetition, continue to build out his reputation around the league. And then if it's not with the Chicago Bulls, somewhere he becomes a starting point guard that he wants to become. You know what I'm saying? But I will hope that he remain a Chicago Bull for the foreseeable future. But we all know that these guys, they believe in themselves, and excuse me, they believe in themselves. And, you can't keep a guy like that who believes in himself, who has a mentor of CP3, who believes he's a starting point guard and has the potential to do that. You can't keep him down for too long. At some point, he's going to have to break out and let his wings go. So those are my 3 players that I think will make the most noise during training camp. That'll be Jevon Carter, Patrick Williams, and Coby White. Down below, you let me know who you got your eyes on and who do you think will make the most noise in training camp and why. Let me know why. And then we're going to chop it up in the comment box. But that's it from me today. Hopefully we all doing well after Chicago Bears loss. It is what it is. I'm even keel with it. I know what I'm walking into right now. It is what it is, man. Chicago, we down bad right now, but it's okay. We hope that the Chicago Bulls can bring some life back into this whole city, and we'll get back to it when it's time to get back to it. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, shake the notification bell. If you want to call in, leave a tape, that number is 773-242-9219. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one for sure.
Cognac. Gang.